Hey everybody, this part of the series we're going to install a couple different anchoring options along with an anchor trolley and a quick little talk about drift sock. Stay tuned.
Whoa!
For shallow water, I'm going to install the Power Pole micro anchor. I like using this unit for the main reason is it's quiet when it goes down. It doesn't disturb the fish. The other thing that does it gives the kayak a little bit more support, which gives me some stability when I'm standing and casting, doing some sight fishing, what have you. For deeper water, we're going to go with the Anchor Wizard. I've got a couple different options for that, either the mushroom or the claw anchor. Both work well, but used in a couple different situations. I'll go through how I'm going to install that off the front and the mount for the crank itself. We're also going to go with an anchor trolley. I'm going to use that for two reasons. One, if the Anchor Wizard, if I decide that I need to anchor off the back, I can just clip it onto the anchor trolley and pull the anchor to the back of the kayak. The other thing I like to use is a drift chute. There's a few different times that I'm using that. Sometimes when we're in the Detroit River jigging for walleye, depending on the wind and everything else, I like to use the drift chute to keep my kayak facing a certain direction, so I can jig vertically better. Okay, we're going to start off with installing the Power Pole micro anchor. First step we're going to have to do is remove the rudder cover, which is simply 4 screws. The other thing you'll need is the Hobie mount for the Power Pole micro anchor. I had mine custom wrapped. I got tired of the plain old white sitting back there. You could probably get this done by any wrap company that you got locally. You could probably color match your kayak if you want, do camo, whatever else. I've seen other guys paint them plastic or plastic dip them, you name it, you can do it with it. From the kit, you got to get the Power Pole mount itself. Simply 4 bolts or screws that go in. Okay, that's good and secure. The kit provides a couple of longer screws and washers to mount into the back holes here. Drop things. Align these clamps back here. that's all there is to installing the mount. Okay, once we get the power pole unit installed, I've got two options. I ran the power cord more as a backup more than anything. I use the battery pack most of the time, so it's nice and easy just to clip on, don't have to worry about it. But should I forget to charge that or forget to bring that, I've always got the hardwired cord for it. Simply plug it in, away you go. Well, that's all there is to do for installing the power pole micro anchor. Now we can move on to the anchor wizard. Okay, now we're going to move on to the anchor wizard. I'm going to hang the anchor wizard mount off the front of my kayak, because I'll use that a lot when I'm plugging for steelhead and everything in moving water. I usually point myself upstream, and when I get a fish on, drop the anchor, away you go, fight the fish that way. It's out of the way that way, and it keeps me pointing in the right direction. In order to mount the drop off here, I'm using a Yak Attack, I think it's the Y-Track mount. I bought the 8-inch version and cut it in half into 2 4s, and it was cheaper than buying the 2 4s anyways. I also support the backside with a piece of aluminum plate. I drilled and tapped it. If you don't happen to have the drill and tap set, just drill through and then put your bolts through, and then you can screw through the back. But I like to add the little extra support on the back side so it doesn't pull the bolt or the screws out. So I've already gone ahead and installed it. So this is what it looks like. I've sort of offset it on an angle a little bit, the way the hull is designed and where the mount or where the crank goes on the H rail. It adds a better angle to it, so a straighter shot at it. So simply take our crank out, our drop off out. See if I can find some parts. So we'll take our drop mechanism out. They supply you with the nuts. Okay, once you get those started, you simply slide into the Yak Attack rail. Tighten it up. That's part. For mounting the anchor wizard crank on the H-rail, I came up with a little mount of my own, just using a Hobie accessory mount. I used a 1/2-inch piece of plastic cut to the shape of the base and mounted that with 4 screws through, and again I used a bit of aluminum as a backer just to give it some strength. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to stick with this method, but for right now it seems to be fairly sturdy. The Yak Attack makes a couple rail mounts that you can add their rail system to the H rail and put the crank on that. I haven't decided yet, but for now I'm going to start with this. Okay, here's the anchor wizard crank mounted on the H rail. To hook things up, just simply crank the crank backwards, run your line all the way up and through. Here's a simple mushroom anchor. In a second I'll hook this up. Here we go, got it all fastened up. Tighten up our crank. I can just place our anchor on the ground like that. And all we have to do is get enough angle here. Crank our handle. Crank it up. And stow it away. And again, to release it, all we gotta do is go backwards on the handle. Try to do it slow so we're not banging it off the concrete. And there you have it. And again, crank it back. And we're in the stowed position. Last thing we have to install is the Hobie anchor trolley kit. Hobie makes this easy to install. They've already got some well nuts already installed, both front and rear, to install the anchor trolley pulleys. As I noted, the anchor trolley is easy to install. Hobie makes it easy for everybody. Just got to pull out these little plastic pieces to expose the well nuts, or whatever you want to call them, in there. The other way. Just add the pulleys, 2 screws. Helps if you install it in the right direction first. And not drop the screws all the time. Well, that took longer than it should have, but it's in there. I like to fasten my line a little different, rather than just tie knots and everything the usual way. I'll usually take my line and use some, I guess they're hog rings, and fasten it that way, and put some shrink tube over top so that the metal from the hog ring isn't exposed and scratching the side. I like the way it looks a little neater and seems to be very secure. These come secured out of the factory with hog rings. I pull one side apart and get some shrink tube on those as well. Quick little tip: if you run your lower line in through one or both of the loops. I only do one. You will stop the lower line from drooping all the time, so it sort of keeps the two lines together. Before you get this all ready, don't forget to put your shrink tube on. So just pull up the excess. You got quite a bit of extra line here. Loop it through. Pull it to get your measurement to see how tight you want it. That should be good right about there. Let's pull this till it's as tight as we like it. We don't want it flapping around. So that feels pretty good right there. I want to push the hog ring, so that's no good. Put it wherever I like it. Seems good. Clamp that down. Note that frayed end down a little bit. Slip this over top. And shrink that up. Last thing we have to do is just install these little stops, I guess they are. They come with well nuts, but we don't need them. Hobie already has everything installed for ready for us. And there you have it. Anchor trolley installed. So, the last part of the bolt control that I use is a drift stock. This is a Hobie drift stock. I simply clip it onto the anchor trolley with a carabiner, and then I'll decide whether I got to roll it a little bit forward to the front or whether I got to go to the back, depending on the drift. Like I say, I use it a lot when I'm drifting the Detroit River for walleye. Sometimes, depending on the wind and how the current's reacting, I'll use it to help adjust myself so that I can stay vertical with my jigging. So that'll wrap up the anchoring series. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got something out of it. I hope there was something in there that you found useful. My next video will probably be a wrap-up video of the kayak fully rigged with everything on it, just to run through everything that I've installed on my kayak. Thanks again for watching. As always, if you like the video, please subscribe.